in.
Yes.
Hello, good day, everybody.
You're welcome. Good day.
Good day.
Okay, the two people are in, right? Samson, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, let's start. Welcome, everyone, to the second of the numerous series that we'll be having on Africanization of curriculum for schools, colleges, and universities. Under the theme of strengthening curriculum for technology, research, education, and governance.
Dr. Stella, if they could start the recording, just so that you can start from record. Okay, they've recorded. Okay.
In fact, it has been paused. I'm just noticing. They started it when I...
Yes, Dr. Cook, I don't know who started it so that we can start from the beginning and it's recorded. So the recording.
Yeah.
The recording started before she said her first word.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It was paused. Okay.
Okay, let me go over it again. So welcome everyone to the second of the numerous series we're having on Africanization of curriculum for schools, colleges, and universities. And under this second series, our theme is strengthening curriculum for technology, research, education, and governance. We're having 9 speakers, and each speaker has 10 minutes to present his or her paper. At the end of the whole presentation, after the 10 speakers have presented, there'll be 20 minutes for questions, comments, and review. We will use the poster arrangement to do the presentation. So based on that, the moderator should take over and present each speaker. If he calls a speaker and the speaker is not available, we'll go to the next speaker. I wish everybody a successful presentation, and I know that what we're doing will impact Africa positively. Thank you, everyone. Moderator, take over.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma, for that beautiful intro. Good day, everyone. I am Samson Oladapo. And it's such a joy and pleasure to be here, and I mean to be in the midst of scholars, right? I don't know how best to describe it, but to be among, this amazing people, right? I find it such a very huge pleasure and honor to be doing this. So thank you so much once again. As Professor has mentioned, we'll be going through according to the order of the list that I just shared or sent to the chat box. So, and permit me, I may not pronounce some names correctly, so you would pardon me. So, but I'll try as much as possible to pronounce those names. I don't know if anybody can hear me. If you can hear me, can you please maybe give a thumbs up or maybe unmute your mic and
We can hear you. Right on, moderator.
awesome. Thank you so much, Doctor. I think that was Dr. Do. All
Thumbs up.
right. All right. So we are gathered here this day, to discuss about a very, very important discussion, right? Africanizing our curriculum. And for me, I've had to work around, a few things on that. And again, like I said, it's such a joy to be here because I would not only be moderating, but also be learning from the amazing lineup of speakers, sharing their different perspectives across different topics, right, that have been, shared with them. So yeah, it's going to be 10 minutes. So by the 8th minute, you will receive a notification, just trying to remind you that your time is almost running, to an end. So then by the 10th minute, you would also be notified, so that, the next person can take over. So the names again in the order of presentations have been shared on the group. So please, you may want to take note of that so that you're prepared ahead. So the first on the list is Engineer Okereke. I hope I have not murdered that. All right, so Engineer Okereke, and he's going to be talking to us or sharing on the development and domestication of engineering codes and standards in Africa for effective practice. Engineer Okereke, such a pleasure to have you. You can take over the stage or the mic.
Yeah. Thank you, moderator. Thank you very much. The name you got 100 over 100.
Oh,
so thank you. So
That's good.
Humphrey French, and firstly, I have 10 minutes. What I have to present, obviously, if I want to talk about it in detail, it will end over a day. So effectively, we'll just be laying a framework of subsequent discussion. It pertains to the Africanization series that we'll be doing, and the topic, especially that I want to talk, which is what I'm very passionate about. I thank God giving us this opportunity to share these variable insights in various fields, which I am very certain that with the leadership we have is going to cause a positive change. So I'll be talking on development and domestication of engineering codes and standards in Africa for effective engineering practice. And so one would want to say, why talk on this? What is the importance of talking about the development of engineering codes and standards in Africa? You see, some other professions, when they make mistakes, probably an individual, one person may die. For instance, say in the medical field, if you don't make a mistake, maybe an individual will die. But if engineers make mistakes, most times a lot of people die. And so that is why it is important that in the practice of engineering, that a known and methodically developed framework specific to this condition that whatever engineering is being is followed very well. It goes to ensure safety, quality, and then profitability, reliability of whatever thing that is done engineering wise. I'm a civil engineer, I'm a consultant geotechnical engineer. So maybe when I talk, I'll be talking more of physical infrastructure that has to do with civil engineering. Unfortunately, in this engineering, also on a foreign standard. We talk about the ATM, American standard for testing and material, American standard for mechanical engineering, the British standard, the ILCUS, the American Petroleum Institute, all the standards that have been developed by professionals from other clients with situations that suit their own conditions. That is what we African engineers had over the years dependent on to practice engineering in Africa. And many times it has led to a lot of issues. Sometimes we need to, in the civil engineering, there's a phenomenon we call over design, and the opposite of it is under design. Because we are basing what we are doing, what we are designing on framework that has been developed from climes that are not ours, from soils that are not ours, from temperature that are not ours, that from different things that does not specifically talk about our conditions. We want to begin to do those things, and then when we want to adapt, import, and practice it here in Africa, it begins to become an issue for the engineer. So now we want to say the problem is that we don't have homegrown standards. The people practicing engineering in Africa, sometimes we are torn between standards that are, for instance, I said I'm a geotechnical engineer. Sometimes when you have a client that is coming from Europe, he insists that you use a Europe. You have someone coming from France, he talks about the French codes. You have somebody coming from America, he wants to talk about the system, ASTM, American standard. Now, and these things that they are insisting for you to use, many times, at many occasions, they don't speak to your soil, they don't speak to your condition, they don't speak to your temperature, because in developing standards, these are variables that don't speak to it. So it becomes very, very problematic issue for the engineers practicing in Africa, because sometimes you are a master of all things, and you are a jack of all trades, and you have not been able to master anything. Especially, you have not been able to master those things that pertain to you, those things that are yours, those things that will improve your own environment. So it's something that gives me a lot of issues, because in dealing with professionals from America, from EU, from Asia, from all the other countries that are not in Africa, we begin to see that many times you have issues for them to, first of all, understand what you are doing, and it becomes an issue for you to deal with. So the objective, as it were, is to explore the importance of domesticating engineering codes in Africa. And we are going to examine the challenges of adopting foreign standards in the practice of engineering in Africa, and then identify opportunities for a Pan-African-led code development. We can have a Pan-African body that we begin to talk about how to develop codes that will suit our African environment, that will suit our African culture, even that will suit our people, that will suit our temperature, that will suit the underground movement. For instance, some people may want to come to do something in Nigeria, and they want to tell you to give a level study on earthquake, because that is what they are used to. But we know in Africa generally, earth movement, earth tremors is not major, or it's not a major issue we have here. So, and then they will begin to negate those things that are major here and want to amplify the things that are major in their own region, which in our own region is very, very, very minor, negligible. So, and then if we want to talk about it, we want to say, okay, we begin to make recommendations for the strategies to implement these Pan-African engineering codes and standard development. We want to how we can become pressure body to government, to professional bodies, so that we can be able to develop this. In the US, we want to see that when an American engineer wants to work for him, and he wants to mention the British standard, he first at it. He wants you to make sure that you adapt to his own. And that is the mentality that has kept them. That's the mentality that has made them to develop to the extent that they have developed. So the current situation we have in Africa is that, as I have been saying, we have imported goods, Euro code, British standard, American standard, and we have very few codes that have been developed, not really developed, but that we have adopted. We take a British standard, we want to put one or two things into it, and then we want to see how we can use it in Africa, how we can, because it is not original to us, we still have issues. We still have issues with implementation. And also we have very weak enforcement bodies. In Nigeria, we have the body we call Standardization of Engineering. We have another body we call Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria. These four bodies, they have not developed anything that is homegrown. The Standard Organization of Nigeria, what they intend to do is to standardize things. If you want to import something into Nigeria, they will say, okay, this standard, this manufacturing standard from this country, say if this product is coming, it has to meet this. But sometimes the Standard Organization does not know why those standards, why those ingredients, if it were to be something consumable, why those ingredients have been measured to say this is what this will contain, this is what this will contain. All we want to do is to see how we see, okay, this standard, this code that have been developed by foreign bodies, that we implement it in our own area, and it's an issue. Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, that is the body that belongs to an engineer, part of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm very active. And we keep talking to ourselves that we have gone to the extent that we should be able to develop standards. For instance, we take an aspect of engineering. We take something and say, let us study this over time. Let us take parameters. Let us take measurements and see this behavior and say, okay, for our own specific situation, this is what works for us. And instead of just to go and import things and begin to use it here. And it gives everybody a lot of issues. We have in South Africa, we have the South African Bureau of Standards. They have the same issues. In Egypt, you have the Egyptian Organization of Standards. There are several issues. You read across all these things, and you see that in Africa, we have not been able to develop something we can say, this is our own. Something we can even export to people and say, yeah, you do this way, you do this way. As far as engineering practice is concerned, it's going to work. And it is an issue, and I think that is one of the things that this Africanization aims to do. And as we continue to talk about, I'm just trying to rush through the framework, because there are details, there are instances, there are case studies, there are examples of where this has become a lot of issues. Sometimes you go over design. A project you are supposed to use, for instance, $1 billion to do, because you are basing your safety factor, what we call safety factor in engineering, you are basing your safety factor on things that are not specific to you. You can do that project for $3 billion. For instance, the safety factor for foundation in Japan that has a lot of earth movement can be 3. For instance, you say you have a bearing capacity of 90. They will tell you, okay, instead of assuming that 90, divide by 10 and use 30 for your design. That is because they know that they have an unstable ground. Now we want to go and import that same thing into Nigeria. For instance, Abuja is a basement area, very rocky. You don't want to come and then you have a bearing capacity, soil bearing capacity of 90, for instance, in Abuja. And you say, okay, Asian standard, the Japanese people, they say divide by 3. And then you want to apply that good line and think, to do what is called design. You waste resources for that. And then in different areas, this has become an issue. And I think that what we have started, this recognition case we have started, is something that is going to be very helpful in us trying to enforce that we develop by ourselves and then domesticate it in our land and begin to use it. Because when we do that, we are going to build trained engineers that will be talking about what they know. We'll be talking about what they are familiar with. We'll be talking about, somebody may want you to go and do a site characterization in the south, in the swampy area of South, and he is telling you to that you are going to meet rock, because that he does not know. And when he is doing that and making his design, he is making it based on that imagination of something that he knows inside and does not apply to us. So what we are saying is that what I'm saying is that this Africanization is important, and we need to begin to galvanize ourselves to have a pan-African body, a pan-African professional across all professions. You know, there's something I was discussing
Sorry
with a
to
colleague.
cut in, sir, engineer. Yeah, so you have less than a minute. Yeah. Sorry to cut in.
Okay. I was discussing with a colleague recently, and I was saying that sometimes when we hear herbalists in Africa, we want to demonize them in our mind that these people are herbalists. But we are importing herbal products from China. Sometimes they call it green tea, they call it this and that. We are importing things great. Just normal things we have ourselves. They have packaged it and they are giving it to us. And we are happy because it's foreign. And we have refused to develop what belongs to us. So in conclusion, I've jumped a lot of slides. In conclusion, I want to say thank you again for giving this platform that we begin to discuss how we can make Africa for ourselves, Africa that belongs to us, Africa we can talk about, African that we are able to defend at all times. I thank us, and I know that with collaboration with the Pan-African spirit, we are able in engineering develop and domesticate engineering codes and standards that will help us begin to practice engineering effectively and efficiently in our south, in our land, Africa. Thank you very much.
Awesome. That Unwosu. I hope I didn't murder that. So he's going to be taking us. Is he or she? Okay. Going to be taking us on Africanization of governance and leadership. So um again, if you cannot share your presentation yourself, you can just let me know. I can help you share it from here. So I didn't want to intercept Engineer Kereke on his speech. So if you cannot share a presentation, just let me know. I can help
Okay,
share
I won't be
from
able to share my presentation. I'm number 6 in case when you get to me.
number 6. All right.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Ma. You're welcome. All right. So, Barrister, you're up next. So we'll be listening on Africanization of governance and leadership. Thank you. I think somebody's raising their hand. Dr. Frank.
I think 2 things I suggest sharing the presentation so that we could be seeing it. That's number 1. Number 2, also, since this is a very important discussion, so rushing it is like we are just kind of doing something, not simulating it. So we cannot give a little hand so that even if somebody go a little bit off 10 minutes, then since it's making sense, then you use your discretion and just moderate it. But you could share it so that in that way we'll be seeing what's going.
All right, thank you so much for that. So I don't know if anybody noticed. So on the 8th minute, I actually rang a bell, right? I don't know if you heard the sound. So then on the 10th minute, I had to come in to, say that you have less than 1 minute, right? So maybe another thing I can also use, so everybody may need to take notice. So once it is 8 minutes, I raise my hand.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, so next on the list is Dr. Okechukwu. So to confirm, if you are here, can you please unmute your mic and say hello? Okay, I'm not sure if Dr. Okechukwu is also here. All right. So next is Dr. Agodi. I hope I didn't murder that name. So if you're here,
yeah, you did well. That's almost like Agodi in Lagos. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's such a pleasure to have you, sir.
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. It's a pleasure to do this. And this is one of the things that when I am doing something, I want to make sure everybody's ready than what's going on here. But anyway, my presentation is going to be on effects of AI on Africanization. As everybody know now, AI is something that is very in vogue now. So good morning, good afternoon, distinguished participant. My name is Dr. Frank Agadi. Today's presentation is going to be on AI and its effect it have in Africa. By the end of my session, I will be able to define Africanization, AI, in its contents. We will try to understand how AI influence language and also media and cultural narrative when it comes to African continent. We identify major risk that comes with it because it has some ramifications, including biases that comes with it, and also the data gap eventually that is going to be affected, and also the cultural issue that it involves. And we evaluate what recommendation we can make to make sure that it's been effective. Africanization, as we know it, is a process that allow us as Africans to shape our own narrative and our, and our language in a way that some other person is not talking your language or saying those things that you will say in your own narrative. It's better you say it yourself. In that way, it makes sense. Otherwise, another person will say it to you. So it implies adding some of the elements into existing system that we have. And in the context of technology with AI, particularly, we want to make sure that the tools, AI tools are there, that we are part of them that help to make this tool. Because right now, if you go in the AI can tell you everything. So if you're not part of it, then they start instead of saying a godi, is a goody. So instead of saying mosu, say wasa. All those things are things you want to be part of it so that when the tools are being designed, you're part of it and make sure that it doesn't have this bias that is going on already. When we talk about these AIs, we want to make sure that the system will be able to perform the task, because AI is an automatic system that performs millions of tasks within a second. A thing that would take millions of people to do, one AI could just do it. So we want to make sure that while AI is doing this, you are part of that game, that is not going to be affecting you. So also going on slide 5, moderator, I wanted you to be sharing my slide. That would have been nice for me, if you don't mind. So please, can you share the slides? So in that way, it makes sense to people that are looking at what to do. That's why we send that slide. If you don't mind, sir, can you be sharing the slide so that in that way I'll be talking? So why is this topic? AI adoption is rapidly increasing in the whole world. So we want Africa to be part of it. Secondly, AI systems shape the visibility of African language and this representation. So I want to pause here and I want to request if the moderator can share my slide, please. I appreciate it.
Yes, I'm on it.
Yeah, I want to wait, if you don't mind. Because we're in a professional setting, it's always, I am one of those who believe that IIS have to represent itself and represent itself as an international organization. And while we're doing that, we're going to be professionally. So I don't like doing anything very haphazardly. I am sorry if anybody is not angry. So that if we go and record this, anybody see that anywhere, so that these people are serious. I mean, that's how I want us to operate. Yeah, thank you very much. I'm on slide 5. Why this topic? Slide number 5. Yeah, why does this topic matter? First, AI adoption is rapidly increasing in Africa and the whole world. As such, Africa had to be part of the game. Secondly, AI system shape the visibility of African languages, and also representation is very important when we're doing this. Third, it made today's about policy, help policy. It may help people to make policy, and also doing it, Africa had to be part of it. Key definition, slide number 6. When we talk about Africanization, is talking about this referring the Central African perspective, the language, how we shape our language, how we put our narrative, how we put our culture across it. So if we don't do that, if you go and read some of the books that's out there, it's been done by some other person that is not Africa. It is our turn. It's our time now to make sure that we say our own story. AI in this context, as like I've said earlier, is help to perform those tasks. It's what you put in, is what it's going to give to you. Those tasks being done by human beings is done by AI now, and Africa had to be part of it. And also local languages, traditional things that have been done had to be localized and imported into AI. Slide number 7. The methodology I use is we look at all those literature starting from 2021 to 2024. That is when AI becomes something that everybody is in vogue now. It's going to take a lot of people's job anyway. So we sanitize those documents and look at it and find out how we can prioritize and address the source, so that in that way, the language, terminology, and other things that media will be part of it. That's where our focus will be. Slide number 9. AI is very, very important. Looking at the language and the opportunities it gives us. The automation helps us to transcribe some of these languages so that it will make sense into machine language. The voice animation. Sometimes when I want to send some information to somebody who is not Igbo, I will sign the voice on my phone. Now AI will be doing it. Ta, ta, bia, bia, kedo, kedo. Then somebody like Dr. Cook can go and listen, kedo, kedo. How are you? How are you? So in that way, AI would be doing this thing for you, so that somebody can start talking now. It looks like Dr. Cook could be speak literally Igbo, but it's not her talking it. That's AI. She want to be part of it when this being designed. Going to slide number 9. The risk. There are some risks that comes with it. Many African languages are underrepresented. Now we want to train AI to say it and do it and detect those dialects. It can also bring some mispresentation or mispronunciation, where some dialects could be raised. In my own place, we say ka. You can misread like somebody say ke. I want to be there to make sure you don't say ke, you say ka. How does that happen? If you're not somebody who's from Africa, somebody can go and say something that's different that you do not say. So that is why Africanization is so important to be part of this AI that is going on now. Slide number 10. AI also is shaping the narrative. Like I've said, the tools are there, automation are there, and the risk has to be minimized in a way that we don't allow somebody to erase what we're saying, and the role of human being should be involved so that when we're rolling this out, Africa will be part of people that are doing it. That's a case study going to slide number 11. That's a case study done using what we call a language initiative project. And that language initiative, they were able to use it to, it was first, I think it was in South Africa, where they used this language to have a community driving to get a data set to put it in pronunciation so that everybody's coming through. That's why we also fighting that some West African countries could be part of it, so that when this AI goes out, right now in schools, in colleges, AI has taken over. Where in most cases, so now some students are even writing their thesis with AI. But there are some other tools to catch it up to know this is human done or done by machine. Those are the risks that AI brings in. Moving on to slide number 12, which have another case study called cultural heritage. It's being used to digitize the catalog that out there. We want to standardize and make sure those catalogs have some Africanism in them. We want to make sure those supported what we are talking about. We want to make sure that amplify our narrative. And the risk that comes with it, the colonial metadata, we want to go there and remove some of them. Just like, for example, with an engineering, software engineering, we go into code now. Some of the code that has master, slave, we're removing them because those were written by colonial masters, where the master is here, the slave is here. So that when the spaghetti of the code is coming, you have the master coming up. So those are the things that we need to do. When we have the economy also is part of that is going to be AI transforming economy. So going to slide number 13, economy is part of it that AI will enjoy. Slide number 14 have a social and ethical concern that comes with it. We go to slide number 14, the governance and policy is also critical. Government has to come in to help and also help to make sure AOU had to be part of it to make sure that people is not being misused. You go to slide number 17, the media and also literacy and cultural resistance are also essential, and making sure that citizens must be able to critically engage in AI generation. Practical recommendation. We go into slide, that should go on slide number 18, practical recommendation. Prioritize African lead data set and open an African infrastructure. We fund language. We help to fund the language of media and also implement regulatory sandboxes and also help to invest in education and also for talent that they've been trained. The framework that we use on this slide number 19, the framework is to represent Africanization and including human-centered design. And also the principle of applying the global best practice is something that we are recommending. That's on limitation now. If you go to slide 20, limitation is limitation of the current research that includes field rapid evaluation is something that's good. There should be some future work need to be done to be able for Africa to understand how AI could be part of it. So in conclusion, AI hold a transformative potential for Africa, Africanization. It guides us locally how we can use that to help ourselves, but we have to be part of it. But without careful governance, it's a risk, reinforcing cultural and economic dependency. Going forward, Africa should be part of AI. Africa should do something to invest on it. Africa should do something that policy-driven, they'll be part of it when it's done. Africa will sit down together and think without rushing when they're doing something. Because we rush, we want to do something, at the end, what have you achieved? Those are things that Africa has to do. So my research references are on below. I don't have much time to explain on this because this is much time important, but We need to open our eye to make sure that Africa use AI for its own potential. Thank you very much.